welcome back to another Batman News Weekly. This is episode 121 in year 3. It is the second episode of the year, and holy crap, do we have... I should say of 2021. I just said year 3, but it is the second episode of 2021, and we have a lot to talk
2022.
about.
It's 2022.
Oh, fuck. I do that every year. Yeah, I do it every year. Whatever. 2022, okay? You know what? The 2020s era, decade, is going to be all one thing. We're going to be in this pandemic for the next fucking 10 years, it feels like.
Abby was like, Clay, I have a really hard time thinking that we're going to be done with this before 2025. And I was like, don't put that into my life right now. I'm
not even worried about the pandemic. Have you been checking out the stuff of like the fall of the American government that people have been talking about?
I have seen bits and pieces of the conversation.
Yeah, there's political scientists in Canada that are saying Canada needs to get prepared for the fall of the American democracy, meaning it's going to become a Republican dictatorship is what they think it's going to happen. And then there's also this thing I saw going around on TikTok, which is even more intriguing, is throughout history, empires only last 250 years. And America's empire, it's 5 years away. So from 250 years. So I'm just like, oh shit. I'm more worried about that than the pandemic, because I've gone 2 years being safe, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
But I can't control the political climate. I can vote, but
one thing that bothers me about the pandemic, though, I was listening to a podcast, a friend's podcast, and he works in the medical field, and he's like, Omicron has gotten to the point where I've had to have the conversation with my family. Hey, we're all going to get it, and that's the only way we're going to get past it. And it's like, no. I don't want it. I don't want it. You know?
It's a stupid mindset, right? It's like, racism's everywhere, so we just have to deal with it. No.
And it is not to say that he's like against vaccines or anything. He's just in the medical field, and he knows that the same way, technically, we got past chickenpox and the flu and all of that, is that eventually everybody got it. And it still boggles my fucking mind that there are kids today that have no idea what the chickenpox are.
Yeah.
Because
it's going to be worse when they get older. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but how quickly our the medical research was to be like, hey, we need to get this under wraps.
Yeah.
And then now COVID is just
Well, people believe the chickenpox because you were able to see it on your body. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And everybody's just like, it's just the flu, man. All right, we don't need to become a political fucking podcast here, because everybody's like, come on, boys, it's about Batman. I want to try to get away from the real stuff, man. You know how people get with that. But a lot of interesting, just in case, let's ruin some more people's day if they are having that kind of mindset. Ben Affleck fans. He said he's fucking done with superhero shit.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't give a shit. Because a rumor came out this past week that Marvel, this is a rumor, not guaranteed, that Marvel was trying to get him to show up in was it Multiverse of Madness or the Spider-Man movie?
No, it's Multiverse of Madness. They were trying to get him as a cameo.
Yeah.
Because it just recently finished reshoots. And I think they honestly just, almost like how Crisis on Infinite Earths on CW was like, hey, let's just try to call whoever is down to do this.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to happen in Multiverse of Madness. There's going to be one giant clip, it's going to be a montage of scenes where Doctor Strange is either going to be going through dimensions or opening cracks or whatever, and you're just going to see a whole bunch of cameos. That's what I feel like is going to happen.
Yeah, that wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised by that. It's always a cop out when that happens, though. Because the Flash did that, and the Flash was the first one to do it, and it's just like, all right, whatever. But it's always kind of a cop out. But yeah, so he's done with that, and he's talked about the Flash. And if you want somebody to blame that isn't Ben Affleck, you can blame fucking Matt Damon, because fuck Matt Damon.
Yeah,
or is it Mark Wahlberg? They're the same guy, right? Yeah. So. I think it's Matt Damon.
Yeah, it was Matt
Yeah.
Damon. He basically gave credit to himself, saying like, "Hey, I was able to kind of get through him," and it. He gave credit to himself, but Ben Affleck kind of doubled down. He was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a big conversation, and Matt convinced me, like, hey, this is the only way I'm gonna basically save my life and my career."
Yeah, because
So
he was going through a lot of shit. Like,
yeah,
admittedly, like even when we were talking about it, we're like, dude, we just want him to survive because he looks pretty bad.
he was looking rough, like right at the
Yeah.
beginning of the pandemic, like right before. He looked like 40 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Like he was looking sickly in the face and everything. He looks 10 times better, man.
Yeah, yeah. So happiness and getting through alcohol. I just remember the fat Affleck photo on the beach where he has this crazy ass dragon tattoo. Like, I was like, whoa, like he's looking rough. I wonder if that's gonna be like the reflection of like looking back. That's when I knew I had to get better. Like, I wonder if that's like because he's like staring at a beach, looking all fucking amazing. Like he's just like staring off into the distance. Like, I wonder if that's his like lively moment where he knew he was gonna change. But yeah, so don't expect him to come back. I mean, we've heard the rumors already that there's gonna be a new Trinity, but in reverse, it seems like, with
Hmm.
Batgirl and possibly, Supergirl as the future, with maybe Shazam being the third one. We don't know. Because, there is kind of what do you say, conflicting reports on that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for the most part,
We will
Ben
find out in
Affleck.
November.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. I
Apparently,
mean, maybe we'll see,
exactly.
depending on how all this stuff goes. But yeah, so Ben Affleck totally not coming back. So let go of that. Well, see, I would say let go of that pipe dream, but that burned me in the back a long time ago. So
Oh man.
we'll see what happens there.
Oh, sweet, sweet revenge juice.
Hey
It was
man,
so good.
the moment the Flash erases the Snyderverse, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's what we deserve. Get it out of here. I saw somebody, dude. That whole crusade is never gonna die. The diehards, they're never gonna go away. They're gonna be
No.
70 being like, back when I was growing up, there was gonna be this great DC universe. Like it's gonna. I mean, if they live that long,
It's
but
gotten kind of embarrassing for them. Like I,
yeah,
I don't understand why they say the things that they say, why they do
yeah.
the things that they do. They've already started to attack Leslie Grace on every piece of
Mm-hmm.
social media, Sasha Kaye as well.
Yeah.
It's just like they just got
Yeah.
hired for a job, guys. Like
Yeah.
chill the
It's
fuck
funny
out.
they attack the women a lot more than they attack the men though. I'll say that.
Hmm.
Kind of a little telling there. I saw one guy on TikTok that was saying he showed like there was some meme going around Twitter, I guess, of like imagine if the Marvel cinematic ended on this scene and it was like Thanos coming through a fucking portal and the Avengers like going ready to fight him. They're like, imagine this was the final scene of the Avengers, and then they were like, Marvel was just like, we're gonna soft reboot everything. And he's like, that's the DCEU right now. And this one guy was like, this thing is so true, man. He was all, everybody says, we need a new direction. Did you not see the Snyder cut? Like, that is literally the new direction. And I'm like, he was all, and then the comments were like, Zack Snyder should be running the DCEU. I'm like, bitch, he was. And his movies didn't do anything.
But that's the thing. He wasn't. That's another thing that people get wrong all the time. And I'm not saying you are wrong. I'm just saying it's the biggest common misconception is the fact that he was told, "Hey, make these movies." And he's like, "Cool. I want to make these 5 movies and that's it."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Cool." And like midway through they're like, "Hey, can you make it like this?" And he's like, "That's not what my contract says." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, go fuck yourself, I guess." And that's why we're in the state that we're in now. Like people don't like and we've had this conversation before, but
Yeah.
I just want to remind people if they would have just left him alone, we would have been done with all of the Zack Snyder stuff well before 2020.
But
Well before.
WB would have also been way over budget and way under profits. Because as much as
Uh,
you want to love Zack Snyder, his movies did not produce. You can't argue that. For the way the budget was and the amount of money he got, none of them produced. He did not have $1 billion movie. And then you have something like Joker come out of nowhere for $70 million and made $1 billion.
was it 70? I thought it was 60.
That's worse. That's less budget. That's worse. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I think if Man of Steel crosses $1 billion, if BVS crosses $1 billion, Zack Snyder does whatever the fuck he wants,
Yeah,
in my opinion. Because
sure.
when you cross that mark, it's just like, sure, you gonna give us another $1 billion? Do whatever the fuck you want. But
Yeah.
he didn't produce in that way. So in reality, you can blame me fucking Snyder fans for not going to watch 50 million times. That's on you. Your paycheck should have went straight to Zack Snyder in the movie theater, guys. It's all on you, all right? Anyways,
Oh shit.
let's talk about something that is continuing in the DCEU, and that is Peacemaker. Came out today.
Yes,
You
it
saw the
did.
first episode just
Yes,
now,
I
I
did.
believe.
Yes, I just
Since,
finished it. Yeah.
since you were working later, I watched the other episodes while I was waiting. What did you think? What's your first impression?
Okay, so my first impression was uh it's still kind of the same dry humor that I'm not a huge fan of,
Okay.
but there's really one part that I was like, "Oh fuck." And that was the very end. Um uh and it got me to say, "Okay, I'll watch the second episode."
Yeah.
I've made a deal with friends of mine because, of course, I do host another DC podcast, talks more than just Batman,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to cover the show on that podcast as well. And I've told them, as well as our whole group chat, like, "Hey, because they still think they're like this show is not going to be for Clay. He's going to watch the first 30 minutes and he's just going to be like fuck this show." And I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't tell me to watch the first 30 minutes when the show is 40 minutes long. Like
Yeah.
like it's not like it's an hour long and then I can choose not to watch the rest of the show. Like
Yeah.
30 minutes, I might as well just sit through the rest of it,
Mm-hmm.
So it is basically the same kind of John Cena like Peacemaker that we saw in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I think it translates very well from the movie for one. Um I do have one hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Um I forgot her name in the show, but the actress's name I believe is
James Gunn's wife or girlfriend girl? No,
No,
the
no,
black girl?
no. Yeah, the black girl,
Mm-hmm.
Danielle Jones, I think
Mm-hmm.
is her name. That is the black version of Rebel Wilson from Pitch Perfect. Like,
Never seen anything with Rebel Wilson, so
okay, her line delivery, her like, I guess her aneurysms, her isms
yeah.
of the way she speaks and the way she moves. Rebel Wilson.
Mannerisms.
Mannerisms. That's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
Aneurysms is when
Jesus.
people die.
Yeah, for real. Jesus.
uh,
Yeah, so I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." But
yeah.
I think she's going to be a bigger part of the show than I thought she was going to be
Yeah.
because it does look like she has some sort of relationship with Waller.
Yeah, that was intriguing when I saw that part. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Now, I just recently, I think it was this week's books,
Mm-hmm.
I took a dive into Suicide Squad issue number 11.
Mm-hmm.
There's some crazy shit going on in that series, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to ask some friends of mine, or if the audience knows, please give us confirmation on this. I do believe either in Rebirth or in New 52, sometime recently, Waller did have family working within like the government of Task Force X.
Yeah.
So
I don't know anything about that.
this may be like just adapting that.
Yeah.
And so it may not just be somebody who has a good relationship with Waller, but in fact family. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, no. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it was you that said this, unless somebody else in the Discord said this. But I was in the ship that the trailers weren't really selling me on the show.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I was kind of in that boat. I was like, oh man, I was like, this could be bad. And like, I didn't want that to happen, but I was trusting in James Gunn because after watching Super, I'll trust James Gunn with anything. Doesn't mean he can't make a bad film, but Super, I feel like this was exactly up his alley. it's like he was just gonna make a DC version of Super with a ridiculous character but having fucked up shit in it. And it's exactly what I'm getting. Like, I've seen the other 2 episodes, and I'm like, I want the rest of the show already.
Really?
Because, yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah, and I'm somebody that's always kind of hated John Cena because I grew up on The Rock, I grew up on Stone Cold, and when John Cena came in, I was like, you're just a fucking Rock wannabe. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't
I
care.
remember his entrance into that whole scene. And
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends just like ate it up, and I was just like, I don't like his hat. I
I
don't
don't like
like
his
his
jorts.
shorts.
Yeah, he still does it. I don't like anything. He used to come out with the chain as the master of thugonomics. Like, I just was not
The
a fan.
wristbands and shit.
Yeah, he
Oh
still does
man.
all that shit. He's just like a big kid in WWE. That's all he is.
Yeah.
But so I've never been a big fan of him, but as I'm watching this show, I'm just like, yeah, he is just a douchey Captain America. And but now we're getting to see more of his character fleshed out, and it's pretty interesting because they are doing the like he's an anti-hero. He can never be more than that. He sees himself as a hero though. But it's like no, bro. The way you handle shit, you can never do it. Like,
See, okay, so minor spoilers, very minor spoilers
mhm,
for the Book of Boba Fett. So people seem to be having a problem with that show because Boba Fett, when he's introduced in the Star Wars franchise, which is in the original trilogy of Star Wars, he is a bounty hunter and
yeah,
he is kind of played out because you don't really see him do anything in that trilogy. He's just like an ominous figure.
yeah,
Well, the picture that everybody put in their heads, plus there's a line of Darth Vader that says like, "Oh, bring this person alive and no disintegration." So you're like, "Oh shit, this dude's a badass."
yeah,
Well, in the Book of Boba Fett, he's not necessarily like to that degree, and
mhm,
everybody's like, "Why isn't he the badass that everybody wants him to be?" And everybody's like, "Oh, well, it's now a Disney show. They want to make him a hero."
yeah,
And so I kind of thought that here, like, is James Gunn the kind of person, and I don't think he is, but
yeah,
is James Gunn the kind of person that's going to say, hey, we're going to try to make Peacemaker a hero in order for more viewers to enjoy the show? Or, I mean, it's James Gunn, so he's going to go out fucking all crazy and shit.
yeah.
Like, I would take that shit to heart and just run with the fact that he is an idiot who thinks he's a hero.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what James Gunn is doing here. Because like even I mean, there's very rarely characters that have no empathy, right? At all,
Yeah.
like villain wise.
Yeah.
Like although I didn't like Thanos' direction, I thought it was stupid because they didn't explain a lot of it the way they explain it in the comic books. But like Joker is the one villain where you don't need to do anything with him. He just loves chaos. Like he just
Yeah.
cares. He shows how smart he is, and that's how you flesh out this character. But never once does he like, I love you, so I'm gonna let you live. You know what I mean? He'll try to
Yeah.
kill anybody. Although he likes to fuck around with Batman though. And he's like,
Yeah.
I could kill you, but I know that would just essentially end my life. So do I really want to do it? How about I kill all your family? That sounds more fun, you know?
Yeah.
But so Peacemaker here, yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there you could, because there is, I loved the conversation he had with the janitor at the start of the first episode. And because there is a thing in here where he's all like, man, you're a racist. He's like, I'm not a racist. He's like, I kill all types of people. He's like, yeah, but ratio wise, you kill way more people of color than you kill white people. He's like, that's fair. He's like, okay, I'll start killing more white people. And like, so I was like, okay, like that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? And it's funny because you find out later.
Aquaman can fuck chicks all he wants. He can fuck men all he wants. When he starts fucking fish, that's what's over the line.
Yeah,
Jesus
dude.
Christ,
so there's
man.
like all this stuff you start finding out about Peacemaker, which I find pretty hilarious. And I thought it was just gonna be like the cheesy jokes and everything, but it's like it's just the perfect amount of cheesy. But then there's like some fucked up shit that are happening in it too. And then the best thing that you can do, and I've always mentioned this, is if you are going to have that kind of character, you need to have like the serious moments be serious, and they've had that happen here, and so I kind of like that. Like the moment in the bar, I'm not going to give it away, but like that part was pretty serious. Like even though he's still being an asshole, you have a person that's carrying the serious parts because Peacemaker is going to be essentially the comedy relief. So is Vigilante. But like those are great, but I think the serious parts are going to be carried by the supporting cast. They're going to do the really serious shit. And I find it works really well. It's very well balanced, unlike where you watch a lot of Marvel movies and everybody's funny. You know what I mean? And that's what I don't like about that show. So, and the one thing I will say, Peacemaker in every episode has had something raunchy in it. And I'm like, this is on my energy. I'm a fucking degenerate. So like I love this kind of shit. Like it's the best.
As soon as you get the fucking sex scene, I'm like, oh, that's Juice's part right there.
I was like, yeah. I was like, 5 out of 5. Give this. Let me go rate this show now.
Dude, but for me though, I'm still in like my comic booky head when that person started to go all fucking zombie, and I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like I immediately started to think of like characters and shit. Couldn't think of anything. But my God, when he fucking used his helmet,
that was crazy.
Just destroy her. I was like,
we totally just started talking about spoilers here. So sorry guys. I'll put spoilers in the title or something.
Yeah. And I will also, I'm writing all this stuff down. I will make sure that the Peacemaker section does say spoilers.
Yeah.
But we are only spoiling the first episode because I have not seen the second or third episode, which is, I think, still fucking insane. This entire season, I believe, is only 7 episodes.
Yeah.
So we got almost.
I thought it was 8. Is it only 7?
I think it's only 7.
Oh wow!
And every single episode does have a post-credit scene.
Yeah, for sure. No, this was. I want to see the next shows, and it's this. If this is what we're gonna get going forward, and we're not gonna get Titans bullshit, I love it. Like we need more of this, and confirmed by James Gunn himself, he's already working on another show.
Yeah.
So if the CW is gonna go down the toilet, which a lot of people are predicting, because they're saying that if it gets sold, a lot of its original content might disappear. So hopefully that's all the superhero shit and that's just all gone. I mean, I hate that people are going to lose their jobs, but I think it's time to go in a new way. And if HBO Max wants to do more shit like this, I'm totally down. But we'll see what happens. So James Gunn working on something new. Do you think he didn't confirm or not or deny if it's Suicide Squad based? Do you think it's something different?
Because
you told me a rumor about his girlfriend.
Yes, so there is a rumor out there who is one of the liaisons for Peacemaker in this show. She did have a part in the Suicide Squad movie directed by James Gunn. There is a rumor that she will be a connective piece of every project that James Gunn has moving forward. So that's interesting. I'm not she does display a little bit of badassery here in this first episode. But what she can do for I guess other than make continuity in projects, I'm interested to see.
Yeah, for sure. I felt so bad because in that bar scene, she's being hit on, right? And that's what kind of makes everything go crazy. And after I saw that, I was like, man, she's so hot. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest, okay? I know how to be respectful around people, though. Unlike those dudes in the thing. But I'm not gonna lie. If I'm attracted to something, I'm attracted to something. That girl's fucking hot. And she kicks ass. So that's even double for me. I love me a strong woman. But either way, I will be interested to see if she is going to be some connective type of tissue. But I think you can do so much with the character. The one thing I will say, I feel like James Gunn is the Tom King of movies, where he can take something nobody gives a fuck about and make it interesting.
Oh, don't say that on this podcast.
Yeah, Drew's going to hate that. Drew, sorry, Drew, I know you're listening. You hate Tom King. We know that. But no, again, if you guys have not joined our Discord, we have a lot of conversations in our Discord, whether people agree with us or not agree with us. And we love it. We don't mind having disagreements. But
yeah.
Drew, let us know. Do you like James Gunn? Do you not like James Gunn? Let us know. But So, yeah, I mean, but I think look at it. I mean, nobody gave a fuck about Guardians of the Galaxy, and he fucking put them on the map.
He
And
did.
then,
He did. That
and then, go for it.
well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and a majority of the people in the Suicide Squad, nobody gave a fuck about. You know how many people loved Polka Dot Man after that movie? And I'm like, really? You guys love Polka Dot Man? Like, it's
Well, like
crazy.
if you look at Polka Dot Man's original power set and everything, it's like there's no fucking way anybody could
Yeah,
enjoy this as like a serious character. And Gunn did something to that character in that movie that was just like, fuck, I want to see more of him.
yeah,
Uh Too bad we can't, but
yeah, yeah.
which by the
Spoilers,
way,
bro.
Suicide Squad is on HBO Max, so I don't want to hear spoilers,
Yeah, it's been out for a while. But the one thing I will say about Gunn, dude, is the costume designs are great, man. Like
Mhm.
even Vigilante, I think looks awesome, and I'm like, man, he looks awesome. I think some people may or may not have problems with his personality, but the thing is, Vigilante is not really a fleshed out character, so I don't care. Like if you're gonna make a character popular with this new personality, I don't mind it. You know what
Yeah,
I
no,
mean?
Vigilante has not been a character that DC has really put on the map.
Yeah.
Uh he had like random like miniseries every once in a while.
Hmm.
Um like I would say one every 5 to 10 years, to be completely honest, since
Yeah.
he was created. And then they used him in Arrow, and
Yeah.
in a very kind of just stupid way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're gonna do something with him, at least have it entertaining and worth it.
You know what James Gunn should do? Cause it would be badass and it would be like diverse. He should do Midnighter. I think that'd
Midnighter.
be Midnighter, the gay Batman is what everybody calls him,
Yeah, yeah.
essentially. Because then you could bring in Apollo, meaning you're bringing in some crazy fucking, powerful
So
people.
you want the Authority?
I have not read anything with Authority, but I read Midnighter and Apollo.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, there is precedent for Midnighter crossing over with at least Dick Grayson,
Hmm.
because part of the Grayson series they had some fights and stuff like that, and he would like he would make fun of he'd mention his ass and stuff. He'd be like, man, it's a
Yeah.
good ass or whatever. But Midnighter is such a hardcore character, but he's openly gay. They don't have to do that hiding shit. Like you could finally have like a badass male like main lead. Because I don't know, was the gay character in Eternals? Did they just kind of brush that off, or was he like openly gay in the movie?
He was openly gay,
Was he?
but they didn't give him much time. Like they showed an on-screen kiss,
Yeah.
uh, and they showed that they like adopted a child, and like
Mm-hmm.
they are living like a gay lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that was it. It's unfortunate just because of how long that movie is that you couldn't really
Flesh it out.
flesh it out for that character.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was enough for other countries to be like, we're not playing your movie. So
Yeah. No, I think just James Gunn, the way his costumes and everything are done, the way his humor is, and the way like he loves to lean into the violence, I think Midnighter would be right up his alley. And I think it would just be cool because he also works for like an agency or has been in part of an agency or whatever, and he kills. So like you could go hardcore into it. I think it'd be kind of cool.
yeah,
But anyways, that's just me rambling there. So I'm curious about what his other project's gonna be. Because if he's who else would he branch out from the Suicide Squad if you're gonna do more Suicide Squad?
I don't know. Like I tried, like I thought about it. The very obvious one, that is outside of the Suicide Squad and just in the DC universe, that is kind
Mm-hmm.
of in the same taste of James Gunn. I don't know if I want him to do it.
Metalman?
Would be a Booster Gold.
Ooh. I mean, I feel
Because
like
it
when
would be Booster Gold would be a freaking Star Lord, just like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the same kind of character, honestly.
Yeah, I feel you just don't want him to repeat himself.
Exactly. Like and that's the thing. Like, because honestly, if you make Star Lord a douchebag, because he's not necessarily a douchebag, he's just kind
Mm-hmm.
of ignorant and kind of dumb.
Yeah.
If you make Star Lord a douchebag, he's Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Like it's not very far from it. So
Mm, I want to know your opinion. Are you going to watch the other two Peacemakers tonight?
oh, I might actually.
Okay, if
I
you
might be able
do,
to.
I feel like Vigilante's personality is probably more Booster Gold than Peacekeeper. So let me know. Because you don't see him much in the first episode.
No,
So,
you just see him in the restaurant and then he goes out and
yeah.
dances in the fucking
But you see him
back.
more in the next two episodes.
Okay.
So you get a good taste of his personality. I feel like that would be a little bit more Booster Gold, but not 100% Booster Gold.
Okay.
So yeah, anyways. Yeah, I'm curious on what's going to be happening with that. But that's enough of Peacemaker. I highly suggest everybody go check it out. If you liked him in Suicide Squad, I don't understand why you wouldn't like his show. And his show, I think, is, just raunchier and crazier, which I think is cool. Going on from that, should we jump on to another HBO Max series, which is an animated one, or should we talk about all the Batgirl stuff?
Let's go animated and then we can go the
Okay.
Batgirl stuff.
So I got a little chub when I heard about this, that Clay fucking texted me, or not. I don't know if he texted me or if he's put it in the Discord. I don't remember.
I did text you.
Okay. He texted me that the person that is going to be writing for the Cape Crusader, which is the new Batman animated series, pretty much, that is being also overseen by what's his name?
Bruce
I want to
Timm?
say, yeah, Bruce Timm. There you go. I always think Tim Burton. It's the same letters. Bruce Timm and Matt Reeves, and I even think J.J. Abrams, right, is a part of this too.
Yeah.
So all the big names are on it, but it is being written by Ed Brubaker. And I'm just like, ooh, are you shitting me?
So I actually have a quote from Ed Brubaker himself that he put out on his newsletter. He says here, he basically put this out immediately after the news broke on Deadline. He says, although this headline makes it seem I just got the gig, I actually have been working on it for several months. And we already wrapped the virtual writing room and are barreling ahead towards production right now. I had no intention of going back to superheroes at all, but I was a big fan of the original Batman the Animated Series, and when this came along, it just sounded like it would be too much fun to pass up. And I was right. We spent a couple months on Zoom for half the day, kicking around ideas and laughing and coming up with some very cool episodes that I can't wait to see animated. The show is a complete reimagining of the character, not a sequel to the Batman animated series, but like the cartoon, it feels like it takes place in a kind of timeless 1940s or early 1950s. No computers, no cell phones, and it's really pulpy. Hopefully, more adult at times, but still something kids can watch too, like the Marvel movies or Star Wars. Ratings wise, I guess PG question mark. I'm not sure what they rate things on streaming nowadays.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. I think that it's probably because here's the one thing I will say. When you get an R, I feel like everybody lets their degenerate ideas go out, right? Like, oh, we could have so and so like fuck, or you get all the basically
Yeah.
essentially Bruce Timm's Harley Quinn movie is what
Yes.
you end up getting, right?
Yes.
You get all of that shit. And I think when they do say like you can do whatever you want as long as you keep it PG.
Yeah.
Then you're just like, oh, fuck. Okay, well, now I got to be creative on how I maybe do innuendos or how I set up a scene or even how people die. And one of the most classic things that you hear if you ever watch the behind the scenes of the Batman animated series is they're like, when the freaking, what is the censorship called? CC something, or I
Oh,
forget what it's called.
I can't remember off the top of my
Yeah,
head. No.
the censorship for television, when they come back and they're like, you can't show that. Because originally, if you guys remember the nightmare episode where Batgirl's having nightmares of her dying and like Scarecrow killing her, originally they had her falling off the building to her death. And the censorship bureau or whatever was like, you can't show that. They're like, can we show her getting like falling on top of a car from inside the car? And they were like, yeah. And they used Jim Gordon's perspective of it, and it made it 10 times more powerful. And I'm like, bro, that is great. So hopefully having to do this PG thing might make it better, because they have to be more creative to get what they want to happen.
Mhm.
So I don't have a problem with that. But you're giving me Ed Brubaker writing Batman cartoons, like I'm fucking there. Yeah, I love him. He's great.
Yeah, no, and he has been writing like crazy, especially during the pandemic and before. He has a lot of really cool indie comics and, of course, creator owned stuff
Yeah,
that has been selling like fucking hotcakes, dude. It is great. So for him to come back to Batman, he wrote a really good run on the Batman solo title. He wrote, of course, the Catwoman series that you had read just
yeah,
recently, like
love it.
right at the beginning of the pandemic. Like, it's getting like to the point where I'm like fucking keep that man's pockets full and keep him on the payroll.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just telling you, like, Batman is like the one character people will come back to. Like,
Hmm.
they're just like, yeah, maybe. All right, I got some ideas. I can come back. Why not? Especially the
Yeah.
fucking TV show. Like, dude, you have to be a badass to be able to come back to that. And I hope he gets Dini on an episode. Like, I really,
Yeah,
if
he
Paul
said that
Dini's not
he's the head writer doesn't mean that he's writing like
all of it.
everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that'll be very interesting to see. Because yeah, if I don't have a Dini episode in this first season, I'm gonna be kind of mad. Because he is a, an essential part of the Batman animated series. You cannot do it without him.
And I will say, Dini has had his hands in animation ever since the Batman animated series. He wrote a lot of the Batman Adventures Continues
Yeah,
freaking comic that we're reading. So I think that it would be silly not to put him on
I
uh,
agree.
that show.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Just like I'm excited. HBO has been kind of doing pretty well, so I'm excited about that. Except not the Matrix. That wasn't great. But speaking of ratings, before we dive into the Batgirl stuff, Batman PG-13 has been confirmed. The Batman. I know there was some people out there that thought it was going to be rated R. But we told you guys Pattinson fucking Catwoman on the Batmobile was a rumor. It wasn't going to happen in the
I
movie.
mean, we saw the Batcat trailer. They were
Yeah.
they were getting kind of rough on the
Yeah,
table, though. I will say
but
that.
it is PG-13. So if you're a degenerate like me, maybe you might be a little disappointed, but it's still gonna be a solid film. So there's that. There was a bunch of high definition photos that came out as well.
Yeah, I will also tell you guys this. I'm not going to say specifically what it is. I read it, and I think it's way too spoilery, especially since the first movie hasn't even come out yet. There is already rumblings of the plot of the second film, which kind of gives away the ending of the first movie.
Oh
So,
God, is
yeah.
it what I've already kind of assumed?
Uh,
I don't want to
text
say.
me text me what you assume, and then I will text you back, so that way
Yeah.
we don't say anything here on the
Let's
podcast.
see.
I would just say, just be vigilant of where you are on social media.
Hmm.
You know, let's
But
see
yeah,
here.
let's see. Yes,
Uh,
no,
mm,
not that.
yes and no.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't help, but all right.
Yeah.
We're just okay.
Uh,
Well, if more of that comes out in the
just
future, we'll
just
talk about
just
it.
just to let you guys know, there is the because of the actual rating come out,
Hmm.
there was a uh final viewing, and it has officially like finished. Like they made their final cut of the film, and that's
Ah,
why
okay.
it has settled into a PG-13 rating.
With or
um
without the Joker scene? Any confirmation on that?
oh shit.
Is there an answer? We don't have to say it on the podcast, but is there an answer for that?
Yes, there is an answer for that.
Yeah, we're not going to confirm it, but I'm going to assume it's what we all think it's going to be. Because why wouldn't they do it that way? Is
Yeah.
what I'm going to assume. Anyways, before we get into the Batman thing, I forgot about this. Speaking of the fucking Joker, apparently they're making the first. Or he's already there. The first ever Black Joker is on Batwoman.
Yeah, what is this about? You told me about this, and I'm usually
Yeah,
the one that's on top of the CW stuff.
yeah, and then nobody cares about it. That's why. So apparently, there's an episode coming out, or there's a character already in the show that is called Marquise. I believe it says Batman episode show Marquise becoming more unhinged. And he says, from this actor has said that this is a different article, but I saw the actor talk about how he was like, yeah, it's, this is really amazing. I'm going to definitely, he was saying it's nice to be in the same ballpark of like the other classic Joker names, but he's going to put his own spin on the character. Here's my thing. If you were to look at this guy, he's not the Joker. There's nothing that screams the Joker about him, but I guess they are going to make him into the Joker. And I hate this. Anybody that knows that from all the Gotham days, I fucking hate when they do this shit. Nope, you don't know who the Joker is. So making him a character prior to him becoming the Joker is the stupidest thing. But yeah, if you look at him, he's wearing a white jacket with a red scarf and he's just holding a card. And he's in a place that has like a Joker on the wall and cards on the wall. That's the photo they're using. But yeah, apparently he is going to be turned into the Joker. And my thing is, if they're just going to give it to him in name, and he's not going to put on the face paint and he's not going to do any of that, he's not the fucking Joker. And I hate them doing this and having them tell this to an actor and be like, yeah, you're going to be the Joker. But if you're not going to give him anything that would make him the Joker, he's not the fucking Joker.
See, this is what I find very fucking confusing in the sense of how WB, CW, DC, whoever's in charge of making these decisions, how they fucking make these decisions. Because, oh yeah, this person can be the Joker, but he's not the Joker, but he is the Joker, but only Joker in non-name. And I'm like, but like, we can have 13 different Flashes and like 4 different Batman, but not on TV. And it's just like, get your shit together, man. Like, what the
You
fuck?
want to know my fucked up theory? Is I think WB or whatever, they're like, nobody's going to care because he's a person of color.
Oof.
That's how I think it's going to happen. Because they've been holding off. They've given this show so much leeway. Like, they literally had the first 2 Bat characters in costume. Like, Batwing and Batwoman. Like, granted, they gave it to fucking that crazy Ruby Rose after all her unhinged craziness. And they were like, you know what, we're going to go in a different direction. We called it out and we were like, it seems like they're just doing this for the publicity, but they're leaning into it and that's totally fine. And they gave us Batwing, so we have 2 characters in bat suits now. And now they're going to do the Joker. I feel like they're just kind of being like, you know what? We're just going to fucking do it with everybody. You know what I mean? And I just don't think they don't care. They're like, nobody's going to care about the show. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you know what I mean? We're about to sell this, so he's probably not even going to get to the final transformation. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like they don't care.
I mean, I guess it's better to do it now than to attempt to do what they did in Gotham and just like wait until like their final season. This is what's gonna save the show, guys. Yeah. It's gonna save the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I would feel bad for this dude if they're just gonna if he's not gonna go full blown Joker. You know what I mean? Like, because unless he puts on the makeup and the everything like that, which that's gonna be very interesting to see and how they go about doing it. Because, like, everything's so politically charged and everything is like, oh, is that okay? Blah, blah. Like, nobody's going to say that's whiteface. Nobody's going to say that. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm just going to be very interested to see, like, oh, why would we cover him up? Like, there's no point. It's like, no, you should, because that's what the Joker would do. Like, if you have him fall into a vat, you can paint people of color skin. Like, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? In my opinion. But are they going to avoid that because of optics?
Yeah, you know I mean? For like there was a quick for when you said that I was like,
exactly.
Well,
it's when it comes to black and white, everybody's like, we can't fuck with that. But we want to turn you green, orange, purple, pink. Like, none of that fucking matters. Black and white, off limits though. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna, why even do this? If you're not gonna go full blown, why even fucking say he's the Joker? And it makes no sense to me.
I would like to pick somebody's brain on that.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, just to be like, even him, like to be a fly on that wall when asked, "Hey, so do you want us to paint your skin?" Like,
Yeah.
oof.
You know? Because if you don't do that, like, and you're gonna be like, yeah, he's just a Joker. Like, but I mean, he doesn't look anything like the Joker. And then people are like, oh, well, the Joker has to look a certain way. Yes! He's a fucking clown! He does! What do you expect him to be? Okay? Like, I understand the penguin and stuff, like, skin color doesn't matter, but when your character is a fucking clown, you should look like a clown. I'm just saying. That's all I'm putting out there.
That is true.
You know? Like, so I just don't. I don't know. But somebody's gonna be like, well, technically, Joker's back in the 200 whatever BC were just wearing jester outfits. You know? And I'm like, fuck out of here, bro. Like, he's a clown.
I mean, this is all true, but I'm still in the back of my fucking head. Like, how are any of these shows still going on? Like,
Same.
especially after the story that we covered last week with the CW fucking not making any profit in 16 years. They just announced a new show today.
What? Naomi? That one?
No. So John Diggle's character, played by David Ramsey, is going to be the star of a show called Justice U, which is the premise is that he is going to basically be in charge of 5 superhero individuals that are all going to college undercover.
Oh God. That's Riverdale with superheroes. Oh my God, just stop with these shows, bro. Like, you know, long story short, if this guy's gonna be the Joker, give him the face paint. That's all I'm saying. Don't play the political game. Let him be the Joker. Because if anything, you're just cutting him at the knees. Like, if you want any person of color to be able to play any type of these things, you have to go full blown. You can't puss out. Like, you know, that's just my thing. So I don't hope they try to. I don't want no keep it or wear the face paint. That's all I'm saying. That's the end of that story. But now let's move on to Batgirl because I don't know if we mentioned this on last week's podcast. I think you texted me right after the podcast that somebody announced that they were going to be filming this week outside. So we were going to expect a lot of photos.
It is Big Screen Leaks, I think is his name.
I have no idea.
BSL on Twitter. He posted a photo basically stating, hey, this is what's going on. And if anybody wants to share their photos with us, we will give you a shout out, blah, 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 blah. And so we have been getting a shit ton of stuff. I have been putting a lot of those photos on the movie spoilers channel on our Discord.
Yep.
But do you want to go pictures first? Do you want to go with these castings first? Like, because we did get some castings. So
yeah, let's go with the castings because there are photos of this casting, at least one in particular. So
there's already a rumor for actors? That. I don't know any of these actors. You asked me a question.
Yeah.
And I did some investigating immediately after you asked me that question because it did get me wondering. Mm-hmm. So I shared this article with Juice and he's like, that guy looks a little young. Do you think this kid could be Dick Grayson? And I was like, that's interesting. Let me look some stuff up. Started asking around. There's actually a photo of this person kissing Barbara Gordon, Leslie Grace.
So it's going to be a love interest.
It's going to be a love interest. And then a friend of mine was like, hey, but did you actually see the rumor of this guy? And so I typed in his name, Ethan Kai, Batgirl rumor. The very first thing that pops up, it seems that he is playing Jason Bard.
So, really?
Yeah.
I don't like Bard. He sucks. God.
Which will make it so much sweeter when we do see Dick Grayson.
Ah, man. Drew, I literally, as we're recording this, Drew, you literally just talked about the new Diggle show. He literally just sent that in the Discord. So I'm telling you guys, if you guys have not joined the Discord, you should come join it. We drop all the news and stuff and talk about it during the week. I like Diggle, but I'm good, is what he says. But yeah, so I'm in the spoiler chat right now looking at some of these photos. So Jason Bard, he's a dick. He was the one that was in that weird ass Batgirl story that had the D&D like fantasy story
Yes.
that we read a long
So
time
so there
ago.
was that one, and
Yeah,
then immediately after that one was the story with Batgirl and Batwoman with like the people turning into gold or whatever, like
yeah,
being dipped into
yeah,
gold. That was all surrounding the backstory of Jason Bard still, because there was
yeah.
still a
Well, he was a
lot of
bad
like,
guy.
yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah,
mystery in the character, and it did come out to be revealed of him being a bad guy.
yeah.
So with that in mind, I'm glad you brought up the fact that he was a villain in that book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this could set him up to possibly team up with Firefly? Is he manipulated by Firefly? Like, what do you think? If the
Um,
rumors are true that he is Jason Bard,
do you think they're gonna do the bad Bard storyline? Is what I'm curious. Or do they just need a love interest? And they're like, we don't want to read too far back, so we're just gonna go with this Bard guy.
hey, I'm just saying, like we I don't know if we talked about the mural last week. Did we talk about the mural
No,
last
this
week?
all just came out. So
Okay, so there's also a mural of Batman in his brand new costume,
mm-hmm. Michael
and
Keaton's Batman, to point
Michael
out,
Keaton's Batman, and right next to Batman is
is
Robin.
Robin. Yeah.
And so everybody's like, "Oh fuck, we're getting Dick Grayson!"
Yeah.
Ah. Everybody's freaking out. And so I think I texted you, and I was like, "Hey, wait a second. If Keaton is the same age as he would have been in the fucking just DCEU since he was Batman,
Yeah.
he's still fucking 70 years old.
Yeah.
So the time, like the time and the age difference and everything else, would this make a Dick Grayson that is like 40 to 50
Mm-hmm.
or like what have you? And people are saying online, oh well, all you have to do is make it to where he doesn't meet Dick until much later.
That's what I said. I was like, you can just have him get the Boy Wonder like 30 years later or 20 years later.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
So,
mean?
and I will say there seems to be, and reputable sources have said this, um there may already be somebody that they are eyeing
For Dick
for
Grayson.
for Dick Grayson.
As Robin or as Nightwing?
I would think Nightwing, because the actor is now older, in his 30s.
Oh, okay. This is my thing, is what I think should happen. This is your perfect opportunity to still make Affleck part of continuity, but he gets wiped out because of Flashpoint or whatever. So Michael Keaton's here, and he is like, your universe needs a Batman, and it can't always be me because I'm old, but I have somebody that can grow to be Batman or at least take my place. And then you have Nightwing be there, maybe as a sidekick, but after Justice League, after you do another Justice League, you're like, maybe you have Barbara do this, and she's just like, you know what? There's a lot going on, and I need to help so many people, but the Justice League needs a Batman. You should be Batman. And you have Nightwing finally turn into Batman.
It's funny you say that, because as I'm looking to send you the tweets that
Mm-hmm.
said person is recommending or is hearing the name of
Yeah.
be Robin, he retweeted uh, somebody giving that exact same example
Yeah.
of like, hey, Barbara is already looking to fill in the role of the quote unquote Terry from the older
Yeah.
Batman. Somebody is going to need to be Batman later on. That could be, in fact, Dick Grayson.
Yeah. I would be for it, man. Cause then you don't get rid of Bruce, right? Like you have a Bruce there. It's not like his Batman, and you can, let the people that want all the Snyder Cut still stuff to be there, and that was really Batman and yada yada yada. But then you have this younger Bruce that we need. And the cool thing is now you can have a Batman that is Dick Grayson, and you don't have to worry about people getting confused with Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. and you can have that whole universe over there and then tell this universe's story of Dick Grayson as Batman. You know what I mean? And then it gives you a reason to bring in Damian Wayne as Robin. So
Yeah.
you can have a younger person be Robin. You know what I mean? So I think that would be the thing. Really? He's
Yeah.
always been considered to be Nightwing.
Yeah.
Ever since
Oh shit. Okay,
what?
I'm gonna have to dig because that photo in
Uh-huh.
the same thread, he now deleted it, but
Uh-oh.
he did tweet out a conversation and he cut out the names. He's like, "Hey, I'm hearing this person."
Uh-huh.
And the person that he was talking to said, "Yeah, that's the person on top of our list."
Is it the photo of that same guy though?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, does it matter if we fucking say it? Like, it doesn't fucking matter,
It
does
doesn't
it?
matter. So the actor that is being eyed to be Nightwing as of right now, this is all
Mhm.
rumors still,
This is all on Twitter, so it's not
he
coming from us. It's from people
yeah,
we follow.
it may, be true that he is on top of their list, but fuck, so was freaking what's his name who was almost Batman.
Oh yeah.
Fucking uh
The one guy we
Beast
thought should have been Riddler.
from yeah.
Yeah.
Uh so it looks like Dylan, I keep forgetting the
He was in
oh
that movie with Bruce Willis where they killed people. Sniper or some bullshit.
he was also in a movie with Michael Keaton,
Oh,
which
that's
would
who it
make
was. It was Michael Keaton, not fucking Bruce Willis. They were both
he
bald, okay? It's the same thing.
that is true. He was in a movie called American Assassin,
There you go.
uh, which, to be completely honest, was not a bad movie. It wasn't like the greatest movie ever, but it wasn't a bad movie whatsoever. Uh, it shows that they do have history together. They would work well together because of that history.
Yeah.
I think it's a good choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because it was I want to say when that movie came out was when the Nightwing movie rumors were starting up and everybody's like he'd be perfect. This guy would be perfect. Go check out this movie because it just shows him blah 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 blah, which
Yeah.
is weird because he's an assassin, but
So I also threw in my quote unquote controversial casting for Nightwing as well, online. This one I know would never happen, but I was like, you know what? I
Pete
want to.
Davidson. I'm
No,
just trying
no.
to.
I said Elliot Page.
No, 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 no. Okay, look, no, not Juno. We're not doing that. No.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
actually, I'd actually be really curious if Juno could put on the muscle.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if you've seen recent pictures of him, he
Elliot Page, but
does.
I just know Elliot as Juno, favorite character. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
I have like he has taken several photos with his shirt off. He has
Hmm.
the abs, but he's still small. And I made
Yeah.
the joke and I was like, "Hey, Batgirl and Nightwing would be the same height, but it would work."
Yeah, no. I Has Elliot Page done anything since becoming Elliot Page?
No.
Is that one show that he was a part of still going? The superhero show? I forgot what it was called.
It is oh, here it is. It was Umbrella Academy. Yes, it's still going.
Okay. See, yeah, I'm looking at the Elliot Page photo right now. I just don't know. Yeah, like they're cut. They have more abs than I do, but I feel like if I were able to get abs, I'd be bulkier than this. And I'm a fucking twig.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious if they could put on the muscle.
And the
Interesting.
reason why I said Elliot Page, I think the humor would work really well for a Nightwing.
Hmm.
Like just some of the humor that he has had in previous movies works well. Like
Has his voice
fucking,
changed?
I don't know.
Because I believe I had. By the way, I'm talking out of my ass here, but from the friends I've talked to that have gone through stuff like this or want to go through stuff like this, you take a lot of testosterone and stuff in this kind of thing. I don't know if that changes your voice at all or how it affects your body. I know it gives you different, like it affects your muscles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if it does anything to your voice.
So I just sent you another photo showing that he did in fact have a conversation with somebody
Mhm.
that was mentioning uh Dylan O'Brien is his last
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
Interesting. Um, that would be full circle. A lot of people were saying that he should
Yeah.
be Batman. You know, I still think I would have went with Army Hammer had all that other stuff came out that
The
not came out, man.
cannibal.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey
Oh
man.
shit.
Hey man, unless you catch him eating somebody, it's all rumors, okay?
I mean, he's in a movie with Gal Gadot that's coming out soon, I think.
It was that the movie that he got replaced in though?
No, no,
He
no, no, no.
No?
It's no. He's that one. He got replaced with what's his name from fucking the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, I don't know. The main
Uh,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah. Lego Batman. Yeah, I don't know. I just the way he was with Cavill, they would have been perfect dynamic duo.
Hmm.
And the Man from Uncle, like they would have been great. So I don't know. I don't. The freaking Rock's agent is fucking up the Cavill stuff. I don't know what she's doing, but I don't know how she's getting the Rock all this stuff and not doing it for Cavill. I don't understand. Like it pisses me off. I think it's because the Rock's fucking scared. The Rock's fucking scared that Henry Cavill would be a bigger star than he is. Oh my god.
Oh, that's
I don't
great.
know how they fucked that up. But either way, it is what it is. Anyways, let's just run down some other photos that have come out. Black Canary wearing a mask is
Yes.
what seems to be like on a wanted poster or something like that.
No.
Uh,
So the actual photos, I do need to go. I found another one I need to put out
mhm.
there. It is actually like a concert like flyer, is what it
Oh,
is. Yeah. So
interesting.
uh it looks like they're just throwing a whole lot of different uh Easter eggs out there, pretty
Yeah,
much showing, hey, this is our world. You know, we're gonna make this a little bit bigger for you guys and whatnot.
yeah.
There has been other teases with these photos as well, as far as the posters that are also alongside the Black Canary stuff.
Mhm.
A little bit of Easter eggs that hold like oh shoot, who is the dude who thinks that he's Zeus in Batman the Animated Series?
Oh fuck, I forget his name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Apparently, there's an Easter egg for him in there. Um, and then we got some photos today that I have been dropping on our Discord channel. One of them showing again Gotham Pulse, which is like a magazine with Black Canary on it. There is also a magazine, almost like a I would assume like almost like a TMZ type of magazine because they have the Court of Owls on there. Maybe it's just like
Yeah,
rumors or whatnot.
the Gotham Tattler is what it's called.
Yeah. And the Tattler also has uh a cover talking about the events of Batman v Superman with Lex Luthor now in jail.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Interesting there because it's supposed to all get erased apparently. So
well, I think this is kind of showing, hey, we're gonna have our cake and eat it too. Basically, you erase the characters but not the story. So
yeah.
basically, just imagine Keaton's Batman during the events of BVS.
Do you think Keaton's
Keaton,
just gonna be an older version of Affleck's character?
think of Keaton doing that warehouse scene.
Okay. Well, the thing is, do they ever? I mean, they say it's like what 30 years, or I forget. Like since he started, he says 20 years, right? It's been 20 years since we started this thing. So
I think 20 or 30. I would have to go back.
yeah. So are we just gonna assume that Michael Keaton's Batman is an older version of Affleck's?
No, I think it's the original Batman 89 Batman.
Hmm.
Because that's what all the Snyder people, all the Snyder cultists want Keaton to be an older version
Yeah.
of Affleck, so that way the legacy could still live on.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that if you wanted to,
You
but
could.
yeah. So I mean, it wouldn't really fucking matter. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, he would just be from a different world. He'd be like, man, because he could easily have something be like, I wish to look like you once again. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't fucking matter. But then people are gonna be like, oh, what about 89? And be like, well, you just assume that 89 also happened. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
that's how you do it. Just it's like one of those things where fuck, it's like the Matrix. Like if you saw the Matrix, the way Keanu looks in the mirror and sees somebody different, like because of the Matrix body, that's just how you have to imagine this. Like
Yeah.
Keaton and Affleck see the same thing, but we're visually seeing something different. That's kind of how you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Is how you could play. But anyways, there's a lot of shit coming out for this Batgirl stuff, yet they've been able to dodge the outfit.
The costume.
Yeah.
I think
So,
well the big thing is, especially I want to say since when was the first, like, cuz I feel like recently it
mhm.
was shit. Which movie was it where we got like really nice still photos for the costumes?
Batman.
Oh,
Recently, we got.
I guess Batman.
Oh,
Uh
was it Shazam? Maybe.
it may have been Shazam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they will like want to put out official released photos
Hmm.
before they get the leaked ones out.
Yeah. Well, that should happen this week. Then
I
it's
hope so,
probably going
man.
to happen the moment we stop this podcast.
Like it usually does.
Yeah,
And
because you got to imagine what they're like 6 hours ahead of us. So they're probably filming like right now.
oh, that's true.
So, it'll be very interesting. But anyways, a lot coming out from Batgirl. Very interested to see what else we're going to be getting. Yeah, we'll get this fucking photo tomorrow knowing our luck. So, it is what it is. But that is everything for entertainment news, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go over to your questions because we have a few this week. Shout out to everybody that did that. I believe you said we have one in Discord, Clay, or no, we don't.
Yes, we have one in Discord, 3 over on the YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and go to
Because I don't have the
Discord
Discord one yet.
first. I do have it right here from Nevik.
Okay. Shout out, Nevik.
Nevik asks, shit, because I asked everybody, hey, we're
Yeah.
about to record, like, give us some questions. And so he says, shit, favorite Batman comic version. Obviously there's hundreds of them, but which one is your least favorite and which one is your most favorite? And I told Juice that this is basically asking who is your favorite interpretation of Batman.
Yeah.
That's what I think the best type, like, the is what Nevik is asking, is like, hey,
Yeah.
the best version of Batman are those who write him. So
Mm-hmm.
the best interpretation of Batman in your eyes would be,
As much as I would love to be like Tom King, fucking, I have to go Jeff Loeb because I think I love Jeff Loeb's story. Like, he has so many
ooh,
iconic Batman stories that I feel like I have to go with that Batman over even Tom King, even though I love that run. So, because Jeff
I
Loeb's stories have lasted the test of time so far. So,
yes they have,
so
with
and worst, I want to say Tynan, but I do feel it's a little too recent. But the thing with Tynan though was he just didn't make Batman a good character.
yeah,
That he didn't make him the star, and that was the problem. Which just 2 episodes or issues into Joshua Williamson's run, you see how Batman should be done.
yep.
But
Mhm.
if I'm doing worst, Frank Miller's All-Star Batman, and maybe the follow-ups to The Dark Knight as well. Those were terrible versions of Batman.
Yeah, I was gonna say worst for me is Frank Miller. I
Mhm.
do not like his version of
What about year
Bat.
one though?
Year one is always gonna be that classic story. It's
Mhm.
always gonna be like the definitive, like, oh, we have a different version of Batman.
Yeah.
Like, because Frank Miller is, like, as much as we dog on All Star Batman, like,
Mhm.
Frank Miller is the reason why we are getting the Batman
Yeah.
the way that he is depicted in this new movie coming out. Like,
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
face
as much as you
facts.
don't like Frank Miller, you can't take away his legacy as much as
Yeah.
you would want to. You could literally, Frank Miller could come out tomorrow as a racist, homophobe, misogynist, and you still can't take away the legacy that he's left on Batman. It's
Yeah.
just, it just has an asterisk of the writer sucked dick, and that's it. You know?
Yeah.
So,
To
you
be
know?
completely honest, that is 100% true.
Yeah.
So I would say Frank Miller for the worst. For my favorite, fuck. Um
Well,
I
you're,
already packed all my comics.
fairly new to Batman
I'm
still,
fairly new to
few
Batman still.
years.
Like I
As long
would
as this
say
podcast.
honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. I would say some of my favorite stories coming from, of course, like Scott Snyder. I feel like his early Batman was great,
Hmm.
but like I don't want to feel like the stereotypical like, oh yeah, Snyder is like the
Yeah.
greatest Batman writer. Um, I know this is going to be controversial because I know people didn't like what he did with Final Crisis. I'm going to say Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison's run is pretty good at times, but Arkham Asylum is trash.
I hate
Uh,
Arkham. I can't look at it. Like it hurts my
yeah,
eyes.
I just don't understand why people love it so much. I just don't get it. But some people love crazy ass art styles. Those things might, like the Joker, might look cool on a wall. The
Yeah.
craziness of it, like on a canvas, but as a story, like I don't give a fuck.
And I still technically haven't read it, but I would like to give Ed Brubaker's run a try.
I need to read Brubaker's Batman run because I don't
Yeah.
remember if I have read it, but his Catwoman run's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
No, we both read what was it? Was it 100 Bullets? That for
is
like
he is he that? Is that 100 Bullets him or Azarello? I always
it may
forget.
have
I
been
have 100
Azarello.
Bullets right here. Hold on, keep talking.
Like we read Catwoman at the very beginning of the
No,
pandemic
100 Bullets is Russo and Azarello.
Azarello. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So
He's
but
also fire. Like
but
so.
Brubaker was like big shot into like no man's land and all of that shit.
Oh yeah, though that run's fucking phenomenal.
So
Who did Batman Ego? I know that was
that's
the
Darwin.
artist, huh?
I
Oh,
think
Darwin Cook is so good.
but I think
Uh,
it's Darwin all the way
he,
through.
oh, is it all the way through? Yeah. So that is also fucking great. Darwin Cook is a legend. He's fucking amazing. But I think he's more known for his art than
Yes,
anything.
he is very
Ego
much.
was great. Ego was great. Anybody
Yeah,
that hasn't read Ego, I
it
highly
was
suggest that.
written and illustrated by Cook.
Yeah. I have one of his Mondo posters.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, it's fucking awesome. I need to get
Nice.
it framed. Whenever I get my own place, I'll probably frame that one. I have so many, but like that one in particular, I'll probably get that shit framed.
Nice.
I have a Mr. Freeze from the animated series that's worth like $600. I was very close to selling it when I was low on money.
I
So,
have I went ahead and bought it. I don't know if I ever showed you.
what?
I have the Catwoman Nightwing Mondo.
Oh, okay. So I never bought one from that run because I wanted the Harley Quinn Joker one that they
Yeah.
had, and it just fucking sold out instantly. And I was like, "You motherfuckers!" But I'm assuming that Nightwing one didn't sell out immediately, right? Because I think I texted it to you.
Yeah.
When it went live. Yeah. I have a few of those Mondo ones, but yeah, I was pissed that I missed out on some of those. And when they started getting really hot, and I'm like, "You motherfuckers!" But I also think that happened during COVID, right?
Yeah.
The
It was
thing
just like in
is,
the last few months.
yeah, the thing is, they usually have those as an in-person gallery before they go online. And I've been to the in-person gallery openings, and the way you do is you wait in line on the street all the way around this thing, and the line gets really long. You go in there and you get a fucking they give you like a just like a cardstock thing with
Mhm.
all of the things on it, and you just press X like next to the ones you want. And then you just go in there and you can only buy one of each, but you can buy one of every one if you wanted to. And I've been in
Jesus.
there and I've dropped like hundreds of dollars before. And then sometimes they'll have like one because I've been to 2 or 3 of the events that they've done, but one time they had a guy that was like walking around with champagne. He was dressed like Alfred. It's just fucking funny. which was just a butler outfit, but still, I was like, Alfred. Too bad I didn't drink because I would have took one. But anyways, so shout out to Nevik for that question. Next up, we have Red Hood over on YouTube. I'm so happy Batman is finally good again. Very excited for Batman 120. All right, here's my question. What is the comic you have that is worth the most? So this is more of a your question.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. I was like, wait, does he mean sentimental value or value, like
Yeah.
money value?
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple graded comics. That's really my big thing is I want to eventually have like a wall that I can display of graded comics. Right now, I think due to the amount of technically due to the amount of signatures that I have on it, one of my Power Rangers annuals is the most expensive one that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But that is indie. Not a lot of people will look at it, to be completely honest. So the one below that would be Batman Damned issue number 1 at a 9.8.
Damn.
Uh, signed by Jim Lee is what I have. And then I have uh, freaking what's his name? Shit, the other Jim Lee creation. The one with the
Oh, the one
mask.
with the mask. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forget his fucking name.
he was on fucking Future
He
State
was. Yeah, I
Gotham
know
this
who you're
week.
talking about. I don't want to say Renegade, but like it's some kind of name like that. I
He's
think.
like for me, I always look at him and I'm just like, fuck, he just looks awesome.
Yeah, he
Um,
looks like Spawn. Like that's how his mask looks.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I'm totally blanking. I'm sure somebody will let us know.
Ravager. Sorry,
There you go. See,
Ravager is
that's why I
the
always think
name. Yeah,
Renegade. So sometimes.
Ravager. I have signed by Jim Lee as well. His very first issue. Oh, I'm an idiot. No, the one that I have that is worth the most, even outside of being graded, is the first appearance of Gambit.
Oh, okay.
I have the very first appearance of Gambit. Uh, I can't remember the issue of X-Men, but as of right now, that is the most expensive comic I have.
What's like hundreds of dollars, or how's this? Well, what's current
So
grade?
let's look real quick.
So for mine, I'm not somebody who buys a lot of comics for that kind of stuff. I do have a lot of Pokemon cards that I would love to get graded, but I'm scared of sending them out because here's my thing, because you have to send them somewhere. And I'm like, and I asked this to Clay, I was like, how is there a way to tell that I'm getting my exact card back? Because I have an old Charizard and I want to send it in. Because the moment I got that shit, it got put into a sleeve and then got put into a hard case. So it's been like that for 20 years or however long I've had it. And my thing is how do I know, like, let's just say it's a 10 and I send it to them and they send me back an 8. How do I know I got my exact card back? That's the only thing that scares me about grading. So I've never sent it anything like that,
So
but I go for it.
I'm not gonna say mine is higher than a 9 because I don't think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Your
so I'm gonna
Gambit, you're
go.
saying?
Yeah, my Gambit. I would say anywhere between a 7 and an 8. And right now, a 5.5 is going for 160, and an 8.5 is going for $265.
Not
Right
bad.
now, the most expensive one looks to be a 9.8 right now, going for $841.
Yeah. I don't think Bat Dick is holding its value anymore. It was going for like 150 at the time, right? If you had
Yeah, I
both.
don't think it's
Yeah.
I think it's dropped to I think anywhere between the $35 and $50
Yeah.
range.
So had I had sold that at the time, Bat Dick would have been it. But I actually have a paperback volume of Batman Venom, which doesn't get printed anymore, and
Mhm.
currently, according to eBay right now, it's going for about 100 to 125.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's probably my most expensive thing. But I also have a Speeding Bullet. I don't know if that's going for anything.
Not right
Batman.
now, but I will say I just realized I not signed. Also something that is no longer printed. I have JLA versus the Avengers, and
Mm,
unfortunately, with George Perez about to kick the bucket, that is going up in price.
mm.
So I think that is my most expensive
Yes, Speeding
series right
Bullet's
now.
about $70. If you have a prestigious one, I don't know if I do
Yeah.
technically. But yeah, so I have that, and then I have like some signed stuff, but I don't think signed stuff is really worth that much, to be honest. Um,
Yeah, it really depend. You have to be a collector
yeah,
to have actual value to it.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's just like, yeah, I got a sign. Cool, whatever.
yeah, because I've gotten Capulos and Kings and all this
Yeah,
kind of stuff. But yeah, sentimental value though, holy shit, I don't know. I do have the number one, like actually like 1 of 25 print from Mitch Gerard's fucking Mr. Miracle,
Miracle.
that
Yeah,
badass pink one. He was the first thing I did at Comic-Con. Literally waited at Comic-Con. I was like, man, they're gonna go fast. I fucking went straight to his
I
booth and I was the
remember that
first one
text. It
there.
was like, I'm gonna go try to do this. I was like,
Yeah. I
okay,
didn't
good
think it was
luck.
gonna happen. And I was just like, oh shit, because one of my friends loves to go fucking just be first there. Like, and we were actually on the good side of getting into Comic Con. They
And that
let
was
us in
preview night, right?
slightly, yeah. They let us in slightly early. And I was like,
Nice.
oh fuck. So we got in and I went straight to him because we were on the side of the artist. So I was like, I could go there and then go buy this like Batman collector's thing. And
Nice.
so I ran over there and got both of them. But he was like, "Oh man, you're the first one." I was like, "Really? Cool." And then I think I paid to get like something sketched on it. I don't remember if I did or not. And then Tom King will just sketch shit on your stuff. I don't even know what I got from him, but I definitely bought some stuff. So yeah, and then I have that awesome another print of Tomasi's Batman when his first run, when it was that double page spread of Batman gliding across 2 pages.
Yeah.
I had that. That thing looks fucking amazing too. So but yeah, that's what I would say for that.
Nice.
Yeah, next up we got Rafael saying Happy New Year, happy birthday to Fanboy Clay. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Question: Is there any comic that you have completely disliked in the first reading, but then read it a second or third time, and did you start to appreciate it much more? Have you ever read something that you didn't like again?
This was a hard one. I was thinking the exact same thing. Because usually when it comes to the idea of like me thinking something is so bad I'm not going to read it,
Yeah,
or like it puts such a bad taste in my mouth, I'm just like,
yeah,
like it is very, very rare where I'm like, let me try it again,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Because like fucking Action Comics with Bendis, this
yeah.
asshole Juice gave me his his
It has
Superman.
Jim Lee's signature on it, doesn't it?
It has Jim
Yeah.
Lee's signature on it as well, but it also
Yeah.
has Bendis and his giant
Yeah.
scribble
I don't know if
all
that
over
was
it.
birthday or Christmas. I gave it to him for one of
It was
those.
Christmas. It was
Okay.
Christmas. But like the Action Comics run, I'm never gonna try that again.
Yeah.
Never. Because I just know I'm not going to like it. Now
Yeah.
I will say, technically I do have a question. I do have an answer for this. Batman Long Halloween.
Really?
I I attempted a long time ago, and I just disliked the art so much when
Mm.
I first attempted it that I was like, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And then actually sitting through it and reading it for the story within itself, it was actually really good. So Raphael, the Long Halloween would be my answer.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to be honest. Because usually when I don't like something, I don't like reading is very different from like watching a movie or doing something like that. You know what I mean? It's very hard for me to give it a second chance. I forced myself through Batman Odyssey. That was horrible, but I forced myself to finish it. But I will say I do have a personality of where I usually start off not liking something, and then I'm like, actually, that wasn't too bad. I've done that with a lot of people, like Lady Gaga. I thought she was kind of ridiculous at the start, but now I love Lady Gaga. Same thing with other people that I've been into or not into at the start, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, it's actually pretty dope. Um, but yeah, I can't say I could do that for books. It would be very hard for me to really think about that and be like, actually, this was really good. So I can't say that I've given something a second chance and thought it
Yeah.
was better. But yeah, so unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you there. But the last one from Ivan Jr., Juice and Fanboy Clay, you guys are awesome. I love how honest you guys are, no matter what it is. I appreciate that. Okay, now the question: what would Bruce Wayne's music playlist look like?
I saw this question a while back, and I was just like, fuck. I will be honest with you guys. I'm not big into the music scene. I
Mhm.
know that Juice is a lot more into the music scene than I am. But whenever I think of Batman and music, I always think of that stupid parody of like metal Batman, and he's like in the
Yeah.
band, and he's just
Yeah, it's all
like
metal.
stupid, silly, and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think about for some reason. I don't know why. Um, I think that I I think that Bruce Wayne would also not be in the music scene, so he
Mhm.
would ask the Bat family to make a playlist for him.
Yeah, I feel like he'd probably be more like classical, like just stuff
Mhm.
to chill him out. I feel like that would be kind of his route. He'd be an instrumental guy. I feel like
Yeah.
he'd be listening to a lot of instrumental stuff because he deals with crazy shit all the time. So he probably just wants something to chill out to. But if you were to watch Gotham, they would tell you he's a death metal fan because I think in the first season after his parents die, he is like this. I'm pretty sure there's this scene where he's like in his room listening to like death metal and like scratching shit in a notebook. And I'm just like, oh,
That's
okay.
annoying.
And Tom King did make Bruce Wayne pretty emo in his first part of his run, which was a big controversy because he was like had suicidal thoughts, and they're like, Batman would never have suicidal thoughts. I was like, well, he wasn't Batman at the time; he was a child.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
Well, and then
yeah,
there's the whole thing with Snyder's whole metal thing,
mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, but that's Snyder putting his own personality onto
A
fucking
character, yeah.
Batman. It is what it is. But yeah, other than that, that is all the questions for this week, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you. If you guys want to ask those questions, you can go do those in the Discord, or you can drop them on YouTube, which is where we have a YouTube channel. You should go subscribe. But now we're moving into reviews. Let's go ahead and start off with Legends first. You read this one, I assume. What did you think of this story?
Yeah, so I read the first story on Urban Legends issue number 11. I read it due to the fact that I was like, "Oh, it's Zatanna," and everybody, there's two ships that everybody loves to do when it comes to Batman. It's either
Mm-hmm.
Batman and Wonder Woman or Batman and Zatanna. And I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
yeah, I won't. I won't accept that Batman and Zatanna have not fucked. I will not accept that. So they have. They definitely have. So.
So I was like, "Okay, let me go ahead and give this a try." This is Vita Ayala, and I will say she does not have the greatest track record with me, to be completely honest, when it comes
Hmm.
to comic book writing. But this one, was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I was confused as of what the fuck is going on, but I did notice this is a part 1 of 4.
Yeah.
So it does have a bigger picture, but like it seems that Zatanna in her and Bruce's youth were like she was basically helping Bruce like feel, cuz he
Yeah.
was so numb to the fact that like his past and his parents and all of this, like they do this thing where they basically join minds and they think as one individual.
Yeah.
um and it's like a really trippy experience apparently, but in doing so it opens up a wormhole and we see different versions of Batman like
So my
through time.
understanding. So my understanding is they close the wormhole every time, but it keeps opening. That's how I read it.
Okay, see, so that's what was weird to me. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know if this was like the only thing because at one point it actually looks like whatever it is rips a hole through their chest. Like at one
Uh,
point. So I was like, what the hell is going on? You know?
let's see. I do not see that.
It's like right after they start talking as one mind, and
Hmm.
then uh you see Bruce say, "What is happening?" And that's when you see the wormhole and it's in the very bottom corner.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird. But I don't think it's. I don't know. Maybe it could be. I mean, multiverse is a thing.
Yeah,
Maybe you're
and
right.
that's why when you turn the page, you see like Bruce is wearing like a loincloth type thing with like long sleeves, and the next time you see him, he is wearing like his classic blue and yellow suit, like
Yeah.
gray, blue, and yellow, and then more of like the known Batman suit.
But we
So
do know through continuity he's had all those suits.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I would like there to be a little bit more like explaining,
But
but we'll see.
the reason why I think it's throughout their lifetime is because Superman says, "Hey, every time you and Zatanna go do something, you kind of come back not talking to each other. Like,
Yeah,
what's up with
exactly.
that?"
And that was another thing that I was going to bring up
Yeah.
as well. Um we also see Flirty Batman, which is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. But I think it's weird because this is post, like, all the Tom King stuff. So Batman can't act on any of these kind of emotions anymore because he's being true to Catwoman, I think. And there
Mhm.
is precedent from Tom King during the Wonder Woman issue where Catwoman, after he's like, "You left Batman and Wonder Woman together for hundreds of years," or whatever, like the guy is
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
And she's all like, "Are you? We get him out now." And because
yeah.
Catwoman knows, like, Batman fucks, like Catwoman knows. And if you're gonna put him in there with Wonder Woman, like, come on. And so, like, I think at the end of that comic book, she was all like, "Were you good?" And he was like, "I was good." And she was like, "We'll be better." And like, so she knows that he can be tempted.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I think that's just him trying to be a better dude. He's like, "Look, Zatanna's banging. She's a 10, but I like got Catwoman over there. She's an 11. So I gotta fucking chill." You know what I mean? So I think that's just kind of what it is. And
But
he doesn't do
they
a communication well, so
that is true. And there's a lot of awkward back and forth between them, but it does seem like because like you said, they have lived life, you know?
mhm.
And so it's not like this thing that they are doing in order to like be like super flirtatious like they were.
Yeah.
This has now become like a serious mission that they have to do every single time. Now, it ends up to a point where they get knocked unconscious, and like all of the super powerful magic users in the DC universe feel something.
Yeah.
So it does say part 1 of 4 bound to our will.
Yeah.
But
So
overall, it was a little confusing, but I'm willing to read the rest of it.
yeah, pretty little interesting story. You don't get a lot of supernatural Batman, especially a lot of supernatural Batman that's good. So this should be pretty interesting. But yeah, I would definitely continue reading it. Because it was intriguing. Also, I like to see Batman in tough situations, especially if it is with the ladies and he's trying to be good. It's just different perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's like awkward Batman. He's like, "Oh fuck, what do I do here?" But let's move on to I Am Batman. What did you think of this?
So I am just going to say Lucius is a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
At the end, he's very much a hypocrite. But like this was almost a non-issue for me. Like nothing happens here.
Yeah, it's just to get
Just
him to New York.
it's literally just to set him up for New York. This magistrate non-magistrate users, like nothing happened with them.
Hmm.
Um I like how Lucius can immediately see that it's Jace just by seeing his jaw.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
his
it.
facial hair.
He's like, oh my gosh, that's Jace. And then he's the
Yeah.
one that shut down these people. Um,
Yeah, no, they should give him a scar or something. Like,
yeah, like
it's
that
so
is
weird.
recognizable
Yeah.
to that point. But honestly, this like I said, this is a non-issue until the end because I think the conversation between Jace and Lucius is the most important part of this book.
Hmm.
Um, it does bring up something that we have talked about several different times, especially when Jace as the Batman character,
Yeah.
or we didn't even know it was Jace at that time. We thought, if you're gonna make a black Batman, why are you hiding his face? And then we started to think, okay, well maybe they're hiding his face because of the controversy of being black and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ended up being true, but the idea of, hey, you should be black and proud, and that would be a force within its own, should come up.
Yeah.
And that's basically what Lucius says here. And I like how they kind of like they bring up the fact that like I'm not Batman. And then
Yeah.
like Lucius is like, yes, you are. You're Batman. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not because I'm just a replacement Batman. And as long as I'm here, and as long as the other Batman's here, there's always going to be another Batman or a substitute Batman or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of Gotham is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what happens at the very end. I will say the ending page is very reminiscent of that of what was it, Batman 118 with Jim Lee. I think I own that.
I
That
don't
issue is
remember.
also like fucking super expensive right now. But he is on a not a
Oh
gargoyle.
yeah,
I
yeah, I
think
know what you're talking about. I know what you're
I
talking
think he I can't remember what building he's on. It's not the
about.
Empire State Building because that's in the background. I think he's on the Chrysler Building.
Mm-hmm.
He is showing that he is in New York, and
Yeah.
this is Goodbye Gotham
Yeah.
is the storyline.
Yeah. You know, you want to know what I want to happen in the first issue is I want him to be seen after like saving somebody and somebody being like, "You're not Batman."
Go
No.
back to Gotham.
Yeah, you're not Batman.
We
That's what
don't
I
want
want to
you
say.
here.
They'll be like, "What the fuck?" Like, "Yeah, who the fuck are you? Batman doesn't stay in New York. Get the fuck out of here!" Like, that's what I want to see. Because he should get out of being Batman. Like, I don't understand it. Like, just make him a different character already. But they know that that won't sell. It
Yeah.
won't sell. If you make him a different character, he won't sell. But nobody already cares about this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the I Am Batman story only, all it has done is it has not built up a new character that people care about. It has only ruined a character people cared about, and that is fucking Lucius Fox.
Yeah.
You know, they just ruined his character. All to get to the point so Lucius can be like, I need to get help. Like, we as people need to get mental help. Like, you told me
Yeah.
all of this story just for that.
And that's why I'm saying, like, he's a fuck. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. People can change,
Yes.
through the storytelling of everything that's been going on in Gotham right now. There could be a moment where Lucius is like, wow, I made some really fucked up choices. Let me fix that. I can understand that. But because of how, like, non important the story has been, how non connective we've been with the story,
Yeah.
like, I can't say that this change in heart from Lucius is believable,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
I just didn't. I mean, I haven't cared for this story. We're only reading it for this podcast. I definitely wouldn't be reading this if we weren't doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, like I said, it's just like Lucius is the only person that comes out of this looking different. Because I never knew who the fuck Jace was before this, and I don't care about him being in New York now. What
Yeah.
sentimental value do I have to care about this character in New York?
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? What the fuck's in New York? Are they just going to make a whole bunch of new characters for him to fight that are going to be ripoffs of other characters? Or is he just going to have, or is Two-Face going to be vacationing in New York and be like, what the fuck? I got out of Gotham for this reason. Like,
Yeah.
and now you're here, I just don't care. Like, so I don't know where this is planning on going or what they're trying to do with this, but, eh, it is what it is.
Yep.
We'll keep reading, see what happens in New York, but it just seems way too like coincidence to make so many people go to New York at the same time. I'm going with mom and so because they have the best medical stuff. Okay, that's believable. Oh, hey, cop person, you're getting transferred to New York. Get out of here. Like, there's just so many people. And also, whatever happened to him being unmasked on TV and everything? They didn't do
Yeah.
damn shit with that. Jack
Nope.
shit. So, yeah, I don't know. Don't care about this. It is what it is. Let's go on to Detective or Robin. What do you think which one do you prefer more? Robin because it ended?
Let's do Robin and let's leave with Detective because I think
Okay.
Detective, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed that last bit of, that other story of Detective. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and finish off Robin first and then we'll end with Detective.
Yeah, so Robin, I want to say we definitely changed our tone after the last issue on this, but it brought back Batman's hit or miss in this for me. Like, I like him at times and I don't like him at times. That's what I got from this issue too.
So what did you not like about this Batman?
Well, just like him not caring about school and stuff for Dick Grayson.
That one was weird.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff was really weird. Like, oh yeah, all this kind of shit. Like, all right, Alfred says you got to do it, so go do it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff I didn't like. But there were interesting parts where he was like, "Get out of here! Like you don't need to be here. You don't need to save me," and all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, he would do that. But yeah, it was just kind of a weird Batman. It seemed like he hit sometimes and missed sometimes. But I like the story that was going on here with Robin. I like that Croc actually went to his school. That was kind of cool.
I like it, but thinking back on it, there's not enough story for me to be convinced that there is actually like a motive for Killer Croc to be like, hey, I want to fuck up Batman and fuck up Robin.
Yeah, it relied you have to put so much emphasis on like he was just unhappy because he saw them happy the whole time. Like
Yeah.
that is literally the story. He was in a cold, dark cave watching the happiness of the Graysons, and like nobody went to go see the alligator man, everybody went to go see the happy flying Graysons, you know? And that's all his hatred is for. And that
Yeah.
can be kind of a lame story. But I have to stand up for it a little bit just because I think sometimes villains just want to be villains. You don't even have to have a story all the time, like that are like so hardcore, like oh my god, this and that, and you know I got to change the world. I'm Thanos. Like you don't need to have all that bullshit. But like, because again, I mean, when it came to Thanos, I thought his shit in Marvel was crap, but the original story where he was like, I'm doing this for a bitch. That's why I'm doing it. And I'm like, you know, that's kind of believable because I've seen guys do stupid shit for women. And Thanos is just a typical dude, apparently. But also, if I'm not mistaken, they explain that the infinity things it can only take away but can't create infinite in the books. So that's all Marvel needed to do. And I would have been like, okay, understandable. But he just went the opposite. I'm like, you could have saved everybody, but you want to kill her? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's stupid. Anyways, so yeah, I will agree with you that there probably wasn't enough to show why Killer Croc was, you know, kind of just wanting to kill Grayson. But I still think like it's so crazy that Killer Croc has one of the better like stories all the time. Like he's usually a character people just do one shots with, and they're usually pretty good because he's kind of sad. Like, you know,
I would let me slow my roll here because I was like, I would really like this kind of story in a live action movie, but I don't know how well it would play in live action. You know, because here, if they were willing to put money into Killer Croc in a live action,
yeah,
I don't want the same Killer Croc we got in Suicide Squad. You know?
Okay. Do you think Killer Croc has to be CG, or they have to do something like you got to go get like the Mountain from Game of Thrones, who's like this massive dude, but you CGI the voice into the character? Because that guy never talks in Game of Thrones, ever.
Yeah, I would do something like that along with like prosthetics. Like, I think that you can do a combination of CGI and prosthetics, like to do something with like a giant tail.
Yeah,
you know, and sometimes
does Croc even have a tail though? I don't think he has.
Sometimes
a tail.
He does. Sometimes he doesn't. So, like in the Batman the Animated Series, doesn't have a tail.
Yeah,
but in the Batman, the 2006 animated series, he had a tail. So you could still like, even with the texture of the skin, it could be a mixture of both prosthetic and CGI to kind of give that like wetness to it and everything else. So I think
I prefer Croc without a tail.
Yeah. I think you could still do a good amount. Just put some effort into it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's doable, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people think that's kind of too campy. I think James Gunn should bring back Killer Croc. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't, you know?
That would be kind of,
there's precedent for it.
I feel like James Gunn could do some stuff with Killer Croc.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if he was able to do that with King Shark.
Yeah.
Just imagine what he could do with Killer Croc.
I hope he gets to dive into those other characters. Like, I want to see him get into some of the wacky Batman characters, like Tweedledee and Tweedledum or somebody like that, or Mad Hatter. Like, I would like to see how he plays with those characters. Can you imagine James Gunn, a horror person, doing Dollmaker,
Oh.
he would fucking put the aesthetic on that so well.
If they were allowed, and I say they, meaning James Gunn and DC, were allowed to go to WB and say, "Hey, Detective Comics New 52 first arc. This aesthetic with like and just like bring in a really good writer for a Batman movie."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just put James Gunn horror theme all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see like it would just be like Batman Dollhouse or Batman fucking Nightmare or some shit like that. Batman
Yeah.
Nightmare would sell. Like holy shit, like you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that needs to be Scarecrow. Like that just has to be Scarecrow. Like
Yeah.
for that title, unfortunately. But yeah, because I don't like. I'm tired of the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Returns. Like give me like Batman fucking what would you say something for Mad Hatter like Wonderland or some shit or I don't know what you
yeah,
call it,
like
down the
something.
rabbit hole or some shit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
or
Follow the
Batman
White
through the
Rabbit.
Looking Glass,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. Anyways, we're back on fucking movies, but this book, yeah, I mean, essentially it was just closing out Robin's story and him becoming Robin. Yeah, now that we put it that there wasn't a lot of emphasis on why Croc was kind of going after him, there's not much to this story now that I think about it.
There isn't, unfortunately, but I do like the story of Robin because, like you
Yes,
said,
I
the last issue did turn the tide on who he is as a character, and they emphasize that at the very end of this issue.
Yeah.
You see him like because there's a moment where, of course, Croc does come into the school and takes Batman because Batman does end up showing up, and he's like, "You know what, Robin? I'm gonna take like for me." So he goes, "Oh, and who is this? You're like adoptive father?" I'm like, "Croc, you just have to take two more steps and you know who exactly
Yeah.
Batman is." Like,
Yeah.
think for a second here. But of course he doesn't. He just thinks of Batman as Batman and he takes him. And so Grayson goes to the Batcave and he's like, "I'm sorry, Alfred. I have to do this on my own. Batman would have to do this on his own, so I'm going to do it by myself." And Alfred's like, "You don't have to. Like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I can help you." He's like, "Nah, I'm okay."
Yeah.
And he like runs off to Haley Circus and he's like, there was at one moment Bruce wanted to like purchase this whole thing just to demolish it so that way I wouldn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But having the idea of Haley Circus here forever means that there's a little part of my family here that's forever. And I thought that was like really, really cool. And he gets to a point where he's there trying to save Bruce and he drops the little lock picks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where he starts to realize, because that's when Killer Croc like is basically drowning him or whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
"I'm not Batman."
Mm-hmm.
And I always love those moments for characters because no shit, you can't be Batman. Like, and hopefully, crossing my fucking fingers here, we just talked about I Am Batman. I hope there's a fucking moment here when Jace is like, "Fuck, I'm not Batman."
Yeah.
And
You
he
know
can have
how,
this kind of moment.
Yeah, you know how egotistical you have to be to think you can be Batman?
No shit,
You know what I mean?
dude.
Like, not even Superman's out here being like, "I'm Batman." You know what I mean? Even though even every conceivable way he could be better than Batman, but
Yeah.
people have written Superman to be like, Batman's just something different. Like,
Yeah.
and they have like mutual respect for each other. Like,
Yeah.
Come on, Jace, fucking cocky bitch, like this guy. But yeah,
when he notices like I am Robin, and he starts to like say it out loud, "I am Robin, I am Robin," and he's like, and Robins are meant to fly, and that's when he like gets his grappling hook and starts to really kick the shit out of Croc, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And he saves Bruce, and that's at the end when you start to get the monologue and like how he's gonna move forward with his life. He does say like, "Bruce can be the darkness, but I can't be that because I'm not Batman. I'll be the light." And then you see him with the rest of the Teen Titans, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and there was this moment when somebody asked him to play D&D, and he was like, "No, like go away." And then it ends with him actually playing D&D with these kids, like at the manor, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it's showing him that he would do something different than Bruce.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was kind of cool. Like all around, it's a good Robin story for sure. I think there was some hit and miss with Croc and hit and miss with Batman, but overall, I think it was pretty dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, but let's move on to the last issue that we have here. Would you say not a lot happened in this issue of Detective?
Yeah, because again, I feel like it's weird. This is a weekly book that I still feel like they're setting up for stuff. And I'm just
Yeah,
like, what is there else to set up? You have Arkham Tower. You
yeah,
showed us that these characters were in there when everything went to shit. Like, I don't need to go back further. I need to be where we were last week.
yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, and that's what I don't like. That's what I was saying. The first issue we read, they show us that everything's gonna go to shit. So now we're just in flashback mode, and I'm like, why even do it this way? Like, you could have had everything go to shit in issue 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't see why
I
everything
I
had to be teased.
I am not a big fan of non-linear stories. This one
Hmm.
is not cutting it. Like
Yeah.
you showed me a really big cliffhanger of Huntress bleeding out in the elevator.
Hmm.
Like, yes, I want to know what it is, but if you keep me further and further from it, I'm gonna forget about it and not care.
Yeah, and we didn't even get an update to that at
Nope.
all. So,
Mm-mm.
yeah, very bad for them to do that. But essentially, all that happened in this issue was we found out freaking not Chase, but where we found out why he's doing what he does, why he became a doctor because his mom was crazy
Mm-hmm.
and he got put into a foster care home or whatever and he grew up and he wanted to help people cuz he thinks it would have helped his mom if he had, the help he has. And so, but we know the Bat family doesn't believe Chase and they think something fishy's going on because all of these villains are just walking around willy nilly with no locked doors. And they're just like, that seems kind of sus.
No,
Eh,
so there comes a moment where like because I think it's Kate is like
mhm.
undercover
Yeah,
in this building talking to Ware, and he's like, "Oh yeah, these are all supervillains, but none of these doors are locked." And like, I'm not reading the Joker book for like some odd reason. I thought the Joker was gonna be in there. I'm like, "Are
yeah,
y'all fucking stupid?" But it
yeah.
does reveal to be somebody who thinks she is Harley Quinn.
Hey, I didn't like that. That's
Like,
so dumb.
as soon as I saw her, I was like, "That's Harley." And then immediately, the panel immediately after is like, "Oh, this is somebody who thinks she's Harley Quinn." And I was
Yeah.
like, "That's stupid.
Hmm.
What? Like, why even do that? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just want to use the character because they're like, oh, we want a bad Harley Quinn, but we're not going to go ahead and really do
Like,
that. So,
are you setting this up all for like a bad joke in a future issue?
that would be terrible. Like,
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
just
To actually kill
because
Harley Quinn.
now that Harley Quinn is like a vigilante, is she
Mhm.
gonna be a part of this Shadow of the Bat story and she's gonna see herself and be like, "Ooh,
Oh,
man, I was bad," you know?
yeah, I don't know. You might as well just bring in Neo Joker. Whatever happened to those books? The
Oh yeah.
fucking.
Beyond White Knight is actually coming out pretty soon.
Oh, really?
I'm
Ugh.
pretty sure.
Damn. Well, isn't there supposed to be a whole universe and shit?
Yeah, the
Whatever
whole
happened with
Nightwing
that?
thing and everything else. I think it
Yeah.
was because of the lack of sales on the Harley Quinn book.
Ah, so they're only doing White Knight now, or whatever.
Yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, essentially, we just learn all of this stuff about the, Doctor Ware or whatever, and everybody's kind of like, well, this all looks kind of sus and blah blah blah, and then yeah, and then it just shows that um Ware stole his mom's credit card when he was younger and took money out, and like everybody sucks, and that's how it ends. And so, yeah, nothing's really happening yet. But we know there's like a crazy shit that's gonna happen, but they're gonna take forever to give us that. So
Nice.
it kind of sucks. But what we really want to talk about is the story at the end of the book,
Yes.
which this is by Matthew
Ma-
Rosenberg.
yes, Matthew
Okay, yeah, got it
Rosenberg.
right. And we found out last week was in this story, the Joker killed parents of some kid who was hiding in a closet and he was going to shoot Batman. And he thinks that Batman and the Joker killed freaking his parents. More so Batman.
Yeah.
But he mentioned the clown and Batman. And so at the end of that book, they sent him to Arkham. And they're like, all right, let's go ahead and see what's going on. Bruce is like, I got to find this kid. I got to find this kid. And they send him to Arkham. And we see that Harley Quinn is the one talking to him. And I thought that was pretty... Dude, it looks so much like Margot Robbie. They literally just drew Margot Robbie.
I was about to bring it up. They did, in fact, just like put her face in this book.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that that kind of threw me off with this, and this may in continuity be at a time where she's already kind of talking to the Joker.
Yeah.
But like, there comes a moment where she is being asked by Bruce, because at this point, like, because what happens is she's asking all these questions to this kid, and she's, you know, answering them, whatever. He's like, I need to use the restroom. Where's the bathroom around here? And she's like, oh, it's this bathroom over here. And he walks, and Bruce basically like misses him by just a few seconds.
Yeah.
And he walks in there asking Harley Quinn like about this kid, and he's like, oh, well, you didn't think about like taking care of this kid, or he asked something around those lines, and she's like, he says this. He says, lovely to meet you, doctor, and you're also an expert on childhood trauma. And she's like, no, not at all, but we all agree that the boy was an excellent opportunity to study the effects of delusional people on impressionable minds. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That is somebody with like zero fucking like emotion. Just like, oh yeah, you know, he's fucked up, so we wanted to see how else he could be fucked up, you know?
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy, but I kind of like it because I feel like Arkham's never been a good place. You know what I mean?
That is true.
I kind of like that, but I just love seeing that Harley Quinn before she became Harley Quinn. You know, I always like seeing stuff about Dr. Quinzel. That's not rooted in Joker. You know what I mean? Because she was there before Joker. But then we get to see that they have Clayface cleaning up the mopping and stuff, which is really weird.
Which is really silly to think about because he's fucking mud. He's clay.
Yeah, but at the same time, he can transform into anything, so why wouldn't he just transform and leave? Like...
That's true.
You know, he should be the last person you have mopping up, because he could just pretend to be somebody else. He could literally turn into Harley Quinn and fucking be like, oh, what's up, guys? And then fucking dip.
Dude, his design in here is so fucking creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has 2 mouths.
Yeah, and he is fucking... Yeah, that's kind of gangster. But yeah, I like it. Clayface has always been one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And he kind of shows his good side, because the kid gets scared, and he's like, oh, no, it's okay, kid. And they start making clay animals out of Clayface's body. And Clayface is like, oh, we're just kind of chilling. And everybody's like, get away from him, monster. And of course, Clayface is like, well, man, if you want a fucking monster, I'll give you a fucking monster. Yeah. And that's when we see Bruce, like, see what's going on. He picks up the kid. He's like, I'm getting you out of here. When everybody starts fighting Clayface. And he takes him to a house that, you know, for orphans. And it's called the House of Gotham. And so that's going to continue the story.
I will say it's a fucking creepy ass ending, because like you see this kid go into this orphanage. He is then like introduced to the other kids. He's laying in his bed, and it looks like he's looking out the window. Mm-hmm. And then you see, not in his perspective, but outside of that orphanage, and you see Batman just like creeping. He's just standing above on the fucking building. And I'm just like, it's fucking creepy, man.
Yeah, he's like, you know, Batman's always watching. I want to know how many people Batman's just caught jerking it sometimes. Like, oh, man, I was just watching you guys, and like, damn it, come on. You know? That's what because that's the running joke, like, with people that are like, Jesus is everywhere. And he's like, everywhere? Like, watching me all the time? Like, all the time? Because, you know, I need some privacy. You know what I mean? I love that joke from Bo Burnham when he plays that, the fucking, I forget what his song's called, but he has a song about God and talking about how, like, a lot of the stuff in religion is kind of dumb, but he's like, why would I care? You know? So I think that's funny. But anyways, yeah, pretty solid Batman stuff this week. Well, not everything, but most of it. I don't even know what's next week. I think it's 2 weeks from now we get the Batcat special, which I haven't even read yet. I usually read that immediately. But
So next week, let's see here. Today is the next one will be on the 18th. We have Batman the Knight, which is Chip Zdarsky's
oh
Black
yeah.
Label story. Then we have Catwoman 39, of course, Shadow of the Bat Part 3, because we are weekly. Nightwing 88, Robin's number 3, if we're still reading that. And that is it for next week.
We didn't read the second issue.
No, you kind of skimmed through it.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be pretty interesting. But Clay, what do you got going on this week, man?
So, of course, I did review the 3rd episode of the Book of Boba Fett on Star Wars Alliance. Go check that out. Of course, we also reviewed the season 2 premiere of Superman and Lois on the DC Alliance show. There is a prediction that I have there. They tease the ending of the episode with something very like red herring. Like it's something that looks very obvious for the mythos of Superman, but I don't think it is what it is. So go listen to our predictions on that. And then I am actually on season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the Ranger Alliance show. We talked about the power transfer, which is when the original Rangers give the new guys their power. And the story behind that is really fucked up. Like the actors wanted a raise for season 2, and they're like, "Hey, look, new Rangers," and they just hired new people.
Nice. Hey, man, they have the power to do that, right? That's America for you.
Yep.
That's fucked up. But is that all your podcasts you got going on this week?
As of right now, yeah.
Nice. My old ass is turning 34 on Saturday. We will be having a birthday stream if you guys want to come hang out over on my YouTube channel, which is my gaming channel, Juice from the Box. Go check that out. We will be streaming around 6 p.m., I think, Central Standard Time. So if you guys want to come hang out and chat, be playing some games, barring any kind of crazy anxiety stuff happening. So yeah, definitely come hang out. It'd be cool time. But also go subscribe to my YouTube channels where I have been posting a lot of videos. And yeah, let me know what you think about them. But that is going to be it for everything, ladies and gentlemen. As always, he is Fanboy Clay. I am Juice Wayne. And remember, Batman is awesome.